Ben Affleck plays Batman in this movie, but he plays a much better Batman in The Accountant than he does in Batman vs Superman.
That's true.
We should go.
The Accountant follows Christian Wolf, a brilliant mathematical genius who works as an accountant in a small-town CPA firm, as a cover for what he really does, which is a freelance accountant and assassin for some of the world's most dangerous criminal organizations. When Christian takes on a new client, he finds a discrepancy in their accounting books and gets himself into a little bit of trouble. This is directed by Gavin O'Connor, starring Ben Affleck, Anna Kendrick, and J.K. Simmons, and is based off of an original script by Bill Dubuque.
Bill Dubuque. My name is Michael Galardi.
My name is Danielle Jacobo.
And you're watching CoogTV Reviews. I see things visually first, so I thought the cinematography was amazing. It honestly was played very safe, but I think that was a reflection of Affleck's character. Because he's very safe, he's very mathematical. So I thought it was just like a reflection of that, and I thought it was very subtle and very calculated and just very well done. The colors were very subdued. There were a few shots that were absolutely stunning, like literally stunning. I was in my chair and
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
cinematography-wise, I loved it.
the visuals kind of went along with the overall theme
Yeah.
of the movie itself.
Yeah. Okay, you gotta move on.
Okay, so here's the thing. I thought the tone was obviously very dark.
Yeah.
There were a lot of things going on, a lot of violence. So, yeah, the tone was very dark, but I think they made up for it a lot with appropriate comic relief, especially from what you wouldn't expect, but Ben Affleck's character, who was really dry and kind of awkward,
Yeah.
but really comical when he needed to be, and I really liked that. So even though it was dark, it had a lot of themes of comedy.
Yeah, there's a ton of things that they don't show in the trailers that just make this movie amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely don't get that from watching the trailers.
Yeah, there's so many undertones, so many plot lines, subplots that are just like very well actualized, and they have an amazing ending, and I'm getting away from the tone. The tone, for me, I thought it was very erratic. There are moments where it's like extremely happy, right, and heartwarming. There are plenty of other moments where it's like extremely dark, and lighthearted and funny and romantic, and like. But I think that's reflective again of the character, and it's all about the character at the end of the day. And I just thought it was like everything about this movie. I think that if you don't like it, it's simply because you just don't understand it the way the filmmaker intended you to. And that's often, I think it's often a rare thing. And I just appreciate this movie. I had the opportunity of seeing it twice because I went to a special screening before this special screening. So I like the tone a lot. I thought it did. I thought it did its job.
The tone does go back and forth, but it's appropriate. Like, I can't imagine it being any other way. Like, I enjoyed it. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if it were just one solid tone throughout the whole entire
absolutely
thing.
No. If it was just like Born Identity, I'm a badass, I don't, or James Bond, right?
Yeah.
It went away from that
different.
completely. Yeah, it's extremely different, and it's very fresh.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed it. It was like it's an old archetype. Like the plot curve is kind of similar. It's like a superhero story, right? It's just like a simple tragic hero sort of thing. But it's just told in a new way, and I like it. I can't help but like it.
Well, yeah, that's interesting because DC is actually
Yeah.
making a comic book out of it.
It's interesting. I mean, Ben Affleck plays Batman in this movie, but he plays a much better Batman in The Accountant than he does in that. For me, my one con, there are probably more like small nitpicky stuff, but my one con is that, like, a lot of the exposition, a lot of the story is told through dialogue. I, for one, come from the camp that you can tell your story through more than one way, right? You don't have to tell everything through, like, first this happened and then this happened, or this is your backstory. I'm telling you your backstory, even though you already know it. That being said, this movie was very fast paced. It was already very long. I understand why they did it the way they did, and it just like got you in the middle of the action as soon as possible. So I understand it, but for other movies, I think it's just like it's lazy. But for this movie, I think it worked.
Yeah.
So it's not a con.
Yeah, even though, okay, yeah, one thing, I guess if I had to say something that I didn't like about the movie is that there's an ongoing investigation throughout the entire movie that you're waiting to catch up with, and you're waiting to figure out what's going on, and they really leave it until the last moment to explain. And in some movies that works, but in this one I felt like I wanted to know way before. Like, I feel like it was unnecessary to wait that long to reveal in full what was going on. So that's the only bad thing I can say about it.
This movie, for me, the reason I didn't feel that way is because this movie does something that you don't see often, and I think Marvel lands this perfectly. What they do is they give you a bunch of small conflicts, and they solve them every once in a while. So you're always getting this like sense of relief, and then tension, relief, tension, right? And it's like spacing out your junk food. You know, instead of eating your bag of chips at once, you eat one every 15 minutes, and it does a good job at like keeping the movie well paced. And
yeah, it was well paced, and that's the thing that something I really liked about it was structure.
Yes.
In that it was structured so well. It was very fast paced, and it could be very easy for the audience to get lost in a fast paced movie that has a lot going on. But in this one, it was structured so well. It was fast paced, but you still knew everything that was going on, every storyline, everything that has been happening, what it's leading up to. Like, it's easy to follow, even though it's fast paced, because it has such good structure.
Yeah, it's hard not to get into spoilers, but I noticed upon my second viewing, I noticed a lot of intricacies that the director must have been heavily involved in, like Ben Affleck as his character mumbles a lot, right? Because that's just part of his character backstory. Yeah. I noticed whenever he had specific moments of like extreme mumbletude, that was very corny. Whenever he had moments of extreme mumbling, a little Corey Rodriguez just came into me. Oh God! I noticed the character across from him would repeat what he said to like make sure the audience was on track, and I was like, that's really smart. That's
I didn't even notice
it's genius. That. It's really good. So yeah, I mean, I thought that the action was well deserved in the scenes that it was in. It's satisfying. It's punchy.
It wasn't overdone either.
The sound is crisp. It can get gratuitous, but I think that if you're going to the accountant, you already know that, you know, and you're looking for that. So I think it's okay. The attention to detail in this movie is amazing. I honestly, for like just like I thought it was just gonna be a typical like cash grab Warner movie, and it was not at all. Whoever made this movie, I mean, I know the director. I know like some of the things he's done in the past. I haven't seen any of that. I think he just did amazing in this one. Yeah.
Well, honestly, Ben Affleck's a really good director, and even though he didn't direct it, if he had any type of involvement with the production, that's probably why. Yeah. He usually does really well. And I will say it's one of those movies that I think you like it more and more every time you watch it. Like, you start noticing little things, and you really learn to appreciate it and how good it is once you see it a couple more times. Yeah.
All right, so that's all we have to say today. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, do whatever you want to do. If you want to send us what you think about this movie, go ahead, comment below, or add us on Twitter, and we'll reply to you probably within the next video. So thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.
My name is Galardi.
Danielle, Jacobo.
You've been watching Coog Cinema Reviews. Bye, guys.
We should go.